time to book some appointments. You've got discovery calls, onboarding calls, sales calls, coaching sessions, all sorts of things. You will need some calendars in GoHighLevel. So let's talk about how to set them up. It's a bit of a long one today, but we're going through absolutely everything that you will need from scratch to set up your calendars in GoHighLevel, ready for people to book straight away, as well as some workflows on the back of those to remind everyone, including you, that those meetings are coming up. Let's get into it. All right, let's jump right in and we'll set up a calendar. So I'm in my calendar settings here in the settings tab. So it's different from in the main tab here. We've got calendars there. So this is where we can see the calendars that are set up and the appointments as well. And you can just navigate directly to calendar settings there by clicking this button here. So I'm setting up a new calendar for my onboarding for my school community. I'm just going to build it from scratch here. I could just duplicate another one of these, but I'd like to show you the full build. Before we go into it, a couple of things here. So preferences. So my meeting location is set to Zoom. You have to connect that here. It's separate from other connections. So if you don't have Zoom connected, you can do it in here in video conferencing. This is also where you want to integrate your main calendars. So anything you already have set up, a Google or an Outlook calendar, just so there's no clashes, there's no double booking. You can see we've got a linked calendar here and conflict calendars. Not like conflict diamonds, conflict calendars, they're good. To make sure that, you're not getting double booked anyway, you don't miss any meetings, that sort of thing. Okay, availability is another one here. Now this is set up across the board. We've got our time zone, and then everything's here. I haven't got anything in my availability right now. It's full 24/7, well 24/5, because Saturday and Sunday are on there. But I'll set my specific availability within each calendar. So that way you can set up everything's available and we limit it within the calendar itself. So you can have certain calendars, say, just for Fridays or just for Mondays. If you only want to take a certain type of call on a Tuesday and not any other day of the week, you can set that up. All right, let's get into the build. So I'm just going to click Create Calendar over here and we'll get started. We've got a lot of options. The easiest one that I've found to use for these types of calls is a round robin. So I'm going to select that and I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it the community name, value add onboarding. Team members, it's just me, no one else is taking that call. I can add a description here, but I'm not going to right now. Now this this widget that I have to put in, this is across the board, any slug, so it has to be unique, and you can see that's already taken. So I'm just going to add my business name and then another slash, and we'll call it value add, and hopefully that's not taken. Yeah, that's fine. Meeting duration is 30 minutes, and then you can see here this is where we've got our booking availability. So we've got Australia, Sydney, Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 5 PM. That's probably fine for me. Accept payments. I'm not taking payments on this call. It's a free call. Usually I'd handle payments outside of that anyway. I don't usually do them through the calendar. And we're just going to click confirm. So we've got there here, value add onboarding. So this is just the start. This is creating the calendar. And we've got some links there. Let's just have a look. We'll preview it if we can. Yep. Calendar is ready. It's functional. It's good to go. I want to make some more tweaks to it. As we go through, we should be able to see a couple of things already blocked off. Nothing too obvious at the moment, but you can see, like I have a 10:30 meeting, so between 10 and 11, this is every half hour, it's blocked out. Okay, so let's do a bit more with this. Got to close that down. We'll edit it. Now I can put in some more information. Now I could have put in a description before, but I'll just do it now. Free onboarding for the value add community. And you can put in all sorts of things here. Like I could put a link out to something. You can pick different types. It's not super important. It's up to you though. There's an option there. And we can put in a logo. So let me have a look, see if I can find a logo quickly. There we go. It's a nice logo. So yeah, that's all set up. And then we've got a custom URL. This is all the same. Meeting invite title. So this is the title for the calendar that shows up Google Calendar, Outlook, Apple Calendar, etc. So we've got the person's name that signed up for it. So that's a custom value there, a custom field rather. So it'll be whoever books in. We'll call it their value add onboarding call. Now, appointment distribution. So this is set up if you have more than one person that takes these sorts of calls. You can set that up so it optimizes for availability or for equal distribution. So if you have more than one person, let's say you have two people, it will try and go 1-to-1, 1-to-1. Whereas if it's availability, if I have 100 slots open and they only have one, it will give most of them to me, depending on who's available in the particular slot that they ask for. So it's just going to be me in there. And advanced settings, so if they reschedule, we can keep the same appointment owner. We can always book with the contact's assigned user. We can reassign it. So if you're flying solo, like I am, even though I have another person in there, this shouldn't matter too much, but you can always just select this, make sure they always stick with the same person if you have a team that are taking these calls. Okay, so I've got me, I've got Zoom as my location. We have a couple of options there. We can do Google Meet, we can do phone. These are they're not looking great there, but we've got full address. I'm not sure what this one is, but really all I'd ever use is Zoom or maybe Google Meet, maybe phone. I wouldn't be meeting anyone in person. Yeah, and we can't really add multiple locations on this particular type of calendar. Pick a color. So yeah, this is for when the booking goes into Google Calendars. It also reflects on the widget as well, I believe. We'll check into that. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I imagined that. But I want to make it purple. I like purple. Alright, so that's all set up. I haven't put it into a group. I don't have any groups yet, but you could group your calendars if you have more than one and you want to put them into, say, coaching sessions, sales calls, discovery calls, that type of thing. So as I save that, it will take me on to the next step, and this is availability. And this is where I want to pick out when and where I want to take these calls. So when will I be available? Now I'm pretty happy with this. I'm usually not available at 8. So I'm just going to push it out to 9. And let's turn Wednesday off. Why not? 9 a.m. and 9 a.m. So I won't book anything in before 9. Not because I like to sleep in. I'm usually at the gym or something. And we've got a recurring meeting function. I'm not going to use that, but this is if I wanted to book in multiple. So for an onboarding call, it doesn't make sense. But if you were doing multiple sessions with someone, you could repeat that weekly, monthly, custom over a certain period of time. So meeting interval. This is how often the meeting slots show up. So it's currently set to every 30 minutes. If I change that to every 15 minutes, it'll show available slots as 9 o'clock, 9:15, 9:30, 9:45. But the meeting duration is 30 minutes. So if someone books in for 9:15, that would take up between 9:15 and 9:45. So that we can change this as well. Minutes, hours, however long we want the meeting to be. Minimum scheduling notice. How far in advance can someone actually book in with us? I like to have 1 day, but we can make it less than that. We could just make it, say, 6 hours, maybe. So if they book in early in the morning, I'm available that afternoon, that sort of thing. Date range, how far out do we want them to be able to book in? So some people like to put it out way in advance, 9 months, whatever. I like to keep it fairly short. I want them to, especially with this onboarding call, I want it to happen quickly. So I might just say even 10 days, so that they can book in with me quickly. Maximum bookings per day. So this is depending on my preference as to how many of these calls do I want to take in a day at a maximum. And keep in mind that you've got other maximums in there as well. So if you've got multiple different calendars, you might book in, you only want 3 of these a day because you want to leave slots open for sessions, that sort of thing. So I'm going to make this 5. I think that's fine. And then maximum bookings per slot per user. I'm going to leave this as 1 because otherwise it would double book. And I don't want to do that. And then we've got pre and post buffer time. So this is just if someone had booked in, we have to have 15 minutes before. that before the next meeting can be booked, or 15 minutes after. So going back to that 9:15 example, let's go for the 10:15 example. So if I put in 15 minutes before, that means the meeting prior to that has to finish 15 minutes before this meeting starts. So they've booked in at 10:15. That means my meeting before has to finish at 9. So that would have to be at most, at 10. So at most it would be at 9:30 to 10. So that 9:45 slot would disappear as well. And if I do post buffer time too, of another 15 minutes, that would then work the other way, because I want to spend some time after the call, taking notes, updating records, that sort of thing. So that means that with that 10:15 call, if that finishes at 10:45, as it should, then I've got a 15-minute buffer before my next call. And I'd have another 15-minute buffer if it's this same type of call. So yeah, it can get a bit weird there with the pre and post buffers, but I'm just going to do a post buffer. It's fine beforehand. It's afterwards. That 15 minutes is enough for me to sort myself out. So that is our availability all set up. I'm going to put Wednesday back in because I didn't actually want to cancel it. Something I should mention as well is you can just clone these to all days. So I fixed it for 1. And now it's the rest. It's 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Alright, now we're on to forms. So this is where they'd fill in their details. So we've got a standard form there, first name, last name, email, phone number, notes. Now any form you've built in GoHighLevel, you can put in here. So I've probably got a couple of forms here. None of these make sense for it, but if I wanted to ask some different questions for this onboarding call, maybe I want to ask, what do you hope to achieve within this school community? What are your goals? That's where I can put that form in here. So I'd have to build that in the form builder, and then I can select that here. Next, we've got the widget order. So this is just a question of, do we want them to be able to pick their date and time first, or do they have to fill in the form first? So there's arguments for either way. Sometimes you want them to fill in the form and then pick their details of when they want to book in. Because it can happen that they pick their date and then they see the form and they decide they don't want to. Or the other way around, they fill in the form and then they see the availability and they decide not to go ahead. Pre-populate fields, sticky contacts. This just means that if they've been on your site or landing page before, if they've filled in their details previously within GoHighLevel, it should pop up automatically. Now, this can be a bit fiddly, especially if you're booking in through the widget. So depends is the answer as to whether we should use this or not. I like to use it for front-facing calendars. I don't like to use it for back-facing ones. So if I'm booking in on their behalf, say from the back of a meeting, I want to book in another meeting, do the old bam fam, I would not be using this because it can get glitchy and it can recognize me as someone else that I put in the past, or try and book me in with myself. But yes, let's set that up for now because this is just front-facing. Consent checkbox. Now, we want to have this on so that we have consent if they provide their phone number. If we don't have the phone number in the form, we can turn this off. But it's useful to have. It's just consent saying that they want to receive content from us. It means we can add them to our mailing list. We can send them emails. We can send them messages. And then add guests. Yeah, we'll leave this off because this is a one-on-one meeting. But if we had multiple meetings, it will allow the attendee to add multiple people. So not really ideal for this particular type of meeting. Confirmation page. What happens when they click the booking button? Now this will vary. The way that I like to set it up, the calendar is inside a funnel. It's not just the widget in itself. We might look at that another time. I don't think I have time to go into it today. But we can have this default. So thank you for your appointment request. We will contact you shortly to confirm your request. Please call our office at contact method if you have any questions, or we can redirect to another page. So usually I'd have this set up as a redirect, but either one doesn't really matter because what I'll be doing in the funnel is having the action from filling in the form and making the booking takes us to the next page of the funnel, which would just be a thank you page. So I've customized that. But I could also have this redirect URL in there. Facebook Pixel ID, optional, but recommended if you're running Facebook ads. And then auto-confirm new calendar meetings. Now this is just the difference between, there's a step there called new and a step there called confirmed. I have it set to auto-confirm all the time, but if you wanted to do something to maybe qualify a bit harder, make sure that they're definitely going to show up. If you turn that off and then have a setting where they have to reply yes to a text message in a workflow, and then that response would put them as confirmed. But auto confirm is fine. And then accept payments. So generally I would not do this here, but you can accept a payment. I'm going to say, hey, $100 to have your onboarding call with me, even though I said it was free. And I'll accept a partial payment of 1%, 0.01%, 1 cent out of $100. And we can have a description here. But this is like, let's say you were doing a paid session and you didn't want to set up a product. You just want to have it paid through here. You can just put the amount in for that. And I'd be charging AUD, generally speaking. And you just have to set that as live. But I'm going to turn this off for now. We don't need that here. And it will take us to notifications and additional options. So we have a default acknowledgement email that goes out. Now, who should receive this? Contact, assigned user, additional emails. I like to leave all of these off because I handle any notifications through a workflow, but you can just turn these all on. And you can add it to someone else as well, but this would be whoever they've booked in the appointment with would get a notification, as would they. And we also have here, allow Google Outlook Calendar to send invitations and update emails, and assign contacts to their respective calendar team members each time an appointment is booked. So that just means in the contact profile, they would be assigned to that team member. Again, like me flying solo, it doesn't really matter. It might be a useful thing to have just so I have them assigned to me, but I'm the only one here. So it's not like, if I had a team of like 5 sales guys, which would be lovely to have one day, that would be more useful. Right now, it's not. Rescheduling and cancellation, so we can turn this off if we don't want them to be able to cancel through a link. Of course, they can still cancel, but they'd have to contact us to cancel, and the same with rescheduling. We can turn that off, and we can also set a timer for it. So let's say our policy is that within 60 minutes you can't reschedule, and within 6 hours you can't cancel. Now, of course, they can always just no-show, but this is just a thing here that we can set up just to sort of keep them in. This would be more useful for paid sessions and for any limited amount of sessions. So if you say you have 3 free sessions with me, if they don't reschedule within the 60-minute window or they don't cancel within that 6 hours, that counts as one of your sessions, unfortunately. So that would be what you'd use that for in a free session. But yes, you can also use it in for paid sessions there. And you can see in the additional notes, you've got the contact phone, contact email, reschedule link, cancellation link. So that would be part of this acknowledgement email there. So I'm actually not going to use any of these. I'll generally turn them off, and I'll show you at the end of this video how to set that up through your workflows. Okay, saving again, always saving as we go through. And the last thing here is customizations. Now this calendar cover image only shows up if you're using the Neo widget in the service calendar. It won't appear in the calendar link. So we don't really need to use this unless we've got groups in there. Now, colors, this is where we can play around with the calendar itself. So let's change the color. I made it purple somewhere else, so we'll make it purple here. That looks all right. I'm not a designer. We'll put in some custom code here. And we have our calendar title, our description, calendar details, all showing on the widget. So let's preview this widget and see what it looks like now compared to earlier. Hey, just interrupting myself quickly here. I know I'm going on and on about calendars and all this good stuff. I hope you're finding it useful. If you are, please drop a like. Please share it with someone else that you think might find this useful, and please subscribe if you want more information like this. There'll be plenty more coming in the future, and maybe check out some of my existing videos. Anyway, let's get back to it. Absolutely awful color scheme there with the green over here and the purple here. But yeah, see, we've got now every 15 minutes there's a slot there, and if something's booked out, it's missing. I'll book something in. So this is what I want, 2 p.m. to 2:30. This is free onboarding for the value add community, and hit select. And then you can see the sticky contacts have actually brought through my details. It hasn't brought through my phone number, which is good. It means I don't have to blur that out. But yeah, it knows me from the, I guess, from the cookies. I'm not sure, but it's picked me up. So as a user, from a user experience point of things, if I've been on your website before, then it's much easier for me to just go, yep, I'm there. I don't even have to think about it. I just click schedule meeting. I'll have to tick my consent box and maybe put any additional details in, but everything else is good. It's ready to go. And I will just book it in so we can see what it looks like. Oh, I have to accept the terms and conditions. So yeah, this is on the widget itself. It takes us here. So this is where we could have redirected to a different URL. So we've got all of the details here. We've got the Zoom link. That's a dynamic link that generates a new one for everyone. I will have created this in my Zoom account as well. Let's see if I can show you that in a moment. And yeah, I can add it to my Google Calendar, Outlook, iCloud, whatever. But let's go back. So we can see there, that's it on my Zoom calendar. And this is from me as the host. I think I did something silly there and put myself in on the same email address. It'll be confusing as to whether I'm the host or the attendee. But yes, we can see that's all set. That's ready to go. Now, let us have a look. I'm just going to save this. I'll have to come back and fix this because I do not like those colors. But yeah, that is set up. Now, is it active? Yes, it is. Just want to make sure. Okay, so we'll go to the calendars. We'll look at appointments. And we've got a couple of different calendars here. So I'm just going to show the value add onboarding calendar. So here I am. Confirmed the value add onboarding call. Here's my time, the date that it was added. Now there's a couple of things that we can do from here. Number one is we can change the status. So this is where we can update it to showed or no show. I highly recommend doing this after you've had a call with anyone. There's a couple that I need to update. If they've cancelled, if for whatever reason it's invalid. So yeah, update these. It reflects in your reporting and it's very useful to know your show rate and cancellation rate as well, because it might be something you want to work on. Also in here, this is where we can look at viewing the details, viewing the consent. Notes, I don't think I put any in, that's why it's not showing, but we can also reschedule from here. So if someone calls up and they want to reschedule, this is the best way to do it from our end. They also have the reschedule link to do it themselves, but we can pick a different start time. Let's change it to 15th. 15th at 2 p.m. And everything else we're going to have stay the same. We just switch that time over. So let's save that now. Changes saved. We should see if I open Zoom back up. Yep, it's moved over. Yeah, and that was both of them moving there. So you can see there is actually one on top of the other there. You can kind of see that little bit of blue because I'm both the host and the guest. Just like all my birthday parties. Okay, so last thing I want to have a look at here is just the workflows. So we are going to create a workflow here to remind both of us, both me and myself, and maybe even I, that I have an appointment upcoming. So I'm going to do this from a recipe. I could just build this from scratch, but recipes are easy to use and they're pretty helpful sometimes. Where is it? Not appointment booking. Appointment confirmation and reminder. Here we go. Select that. Here we go. Our trigger. So this will trigger when an appointment is made. Now right now it's set to all appointments. So I don't want all appointments. I only want for that particular calendar because I'm going to modify it for that calendar. So in calendar and then value add onboarding. I'm going to zip myself over to the other side here because it's easier for me to work on this side. Okay, so that's set. So now this will fire. I mean, it's not published, but now it's set to fire anytime someone books in on that specific calendar. I've got a confirmation email here from me, so my standard location name, my account name and email address. Subject appointment confirmation. I can change that a bit. I can say your value add onboarding call. And we can put in a custom value there. And then we've got some very basic details here. So I don't really need to change this too much. I can personalize it, make it a bit nicer, but we've got all the relevant details. Hi, contact first name, your appointment has been confirmed for this date at this time in this particular time zone. So that will update it to their time zone. And then let us know if you have any questions. In the meantime, use this Zoom meeting ID. Now, this is not the Zoom meeting ID. That's just a random one, so I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to add in custom value, appointment, meeting location. So that would be the Zoom link because the location is on Zoom. If that was a physical address, it would show that. And because it's a link as well, right now that would just show the URL. It wouldn't show anything special. It wouldn't be clickable. So I'm just going to click add link, and I'm going to paste that here, and I'm going to set that as a new window. So now it will show up as a link, and they can click on it. And then we have down here all the add to Google Calendar, add to Outlook, cancel, reschedule. So those are all set up. So I'm going to save that now. Then we have a 24-hour reminder email. So I'm not going to bother changing any of this just now. I could update it like the subject line, your meeting is in 24 hours. I might just do appointment name title. So this would then say your value add onboarding is in 24 hours. So if you wanted to have everything through the same workflow for all appointments, you could do that using custom values like this. Custom fields, not values, they're different things. But you're using custom fields like this to personalize that, change it a little bit. And again, we've got this here, so I'm going to change that back. That's a nothing link. It's just an example link. So meeting location again. And meeting location, a new window. Save that. I always like to double save everything because I've been burned before, but you don't really have to. You just need to save down the bottom here. And then we've got your meeting is in 1 hour. Appointment meeting location. Oh, I do not know what happened there. There we go. And it needs to be in a new window. So that's all set up. And then we've got a text message here as well. That's nice. Just a friendly reminder that our appointment's in 1 hour. That's fine, happy with that. And then we've got 5 minutes before, the same again. So this is just a nice cadence. We've got 24 hours before the appointment. And I should have gone into these wait times, so I'm just going to look at those quickly instead of the emails themselves. So what will happen is based on the appointment start date and time, it will wait until 24 hours, 1 day before. If that's already passed, if they've booked in, like we set it to 6 hours, so if they've booked in same day, it will skip past this step to the 1 hour. So you can see there, waits till 1 day before, skip all outbound communications if the timing of this wait step is already in the past. Same with the 1 hour, it will do that, although that's unlikely, but it will skip past that if it's already past 1 hour. And the same with the 5 minutes before. Again, I doubt that's going to happen unless they book in 1 minute before it starts. And with the way that we've set the calendar up, they can't do that. It has to be at least 6 hours before, otherwise they can't book in. Now we just got this last email here. So the appointment is starting. We'll put the link in again. And that final message here. So I'm going to take this out. We can put trigger links into SMS as well, but I don't really want them joining the Zoom meet. I don't really want them joining a Zoom meeting off their phone. I want them joining from a desktop or a tablet, maybe, but not on their mobile. So I want to be able to have a proper conversation with them, which you can have on the mobile, but that's how I've set it up, and they can still join off their mobile if they use their email on there. Last step, publish. I'll save that now, and then I could rename this, but essentially this is ready to go. So why don't we try it again? Go back to the calendar widget. Something I've not done today is built a funnel around it, which I would normally do, but we can look at that another time. Alright, copy this link here. I'm going to book in with myself at 11 AM tomorrow. That seems to have gone through without a hitch. I'm just checking my email over here on the other side so we can see that that has come through. And here we go. Here's my email that I've received, your value add onboarding call, Nick. All the details, 14th of August at 11 AM, and I've got the Zoom link there. I can add it to my calendar, add it to Outlook, cancel it, reschedule it. I can even open the Zoom link right now if I'm raring and ready to go and waiting a full day to have a talk with myself. But I might just cancel it. I'm going to cancel that meeting now. So that's opened this up. Cancellation reason. I don't want to. So that's cancelled. And if we look back into GoHighLevel here, we should be able to see all of that has happened. I've just got another email saying that it's successfully been cancelled. Here it comes. Yeah, we can see that's cancelled. And I'm going to make this one invalid. It's not really cancelled. It never really existed. It doesn't count. So I'll make both of those invalid. Anyway, that is pretty much it. That's how we set up our calendars. That's how we set up the workflow to send reminders out. Something I missed in the workflow there. Let me go back to it just really quick. It's very useful to have internal notifications in there. I thought I was done, and I'm not. Internal notification. So this is something to send the email to the user. So you'd like to know if someone's booked in a call with you, because you don't want to be the person that doesn't show up to the call. So let's use a custom field. See, I've used quite a few of them in the past. And we can say date, appointment. Let's just do start date and time. So even though it says start time there, that's everything. So this would then send an email to me. So we can select the user. We can go all users, assigned user, particular user. It'll always be me. So now as soon as they book in, I will get an email as well saying this is what they've booked in. And maybe I can add in some notes as well. So we've got appointment notes. So anything that they've put in that box there saying what they want to talk about, that will then be added. Save that. So it will look like this. They book in, we get a notification, they get a confirmation, and then reminders come up. We can even put one in around here as well. Do another internal notification. Because it's not just them that needs to remember, it's us as well. Maybe we'll do an SMS. And we'll do it to a particular user, and that is me. So that's set up as well. So yeah, a couple of little extra things that you can do there to really help make sure that you're not missing out. I've missed meetings before. I've forgotten they were happening. It's not a great feeling. Okay, all done. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, that is it. Thank you for sticking with me through this one. I know it was a bit longer than usual. I might be making some more longer tutorials like this. But if you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe. I know I asked you that already, but I'd appreciate it if you do that. Also, if you are having a look at that value add onboarding and wondering what it is, what that school community is, please feel free to join. It's a free community. I have a course in there about client journey mapping, which is super important when it comes to automation. And then one about automation itself. And then a couple of other things off the back of that are more high-level specific. I've got the link in the comments below. So yeah, join in. All right. Thanks a lot. See you soon.